Meanwhile, as President-elect Donald Trump gets set to assume office, his attorneys are back in federal court today over the Trump University class action lawsuit. Now, Mr. Trump has been under fire for the scandal throughout his campaign. Trump University, a real estate training program, stands accused of scamming millions of dollars from its students, some of them elderly. CBS News Justice reporter Paula Reid is making a rare appearance in New York, probably fighting that midtown traffic, to be sure. Paula, great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Happy to be here.
First, what did Trump's attorneys hope to achieve today?
They're going to go into court and they're going to tell the judge their client is very busy with his transition. They would like to delay the trial until the inauguration. But just last week, the judge acknowledged that Mr. President-elect Trump is very busy and encouraged the parties to settle. There were some talks between the parties trying to settle this case out of court. They couldn't quite reach a settlement, so they're going to try again to delay, but it's very unlikely they're going to be successful.
Well, to that end, if somebody is going to argue scheduling, it would seem that Donald Trump's lawyers will have a very good argument for at least 4 years.
Yes, exactly. And once he becomes president, well, some people say, well, aren't you protected from lawsuits if you're president? You're only protected from lawsuits that are connected to your duties as president. You are not protected from lawsuits that occur in your private life. But the Supreme Court gave presidents a little bit of protection. They said that you're not protected from those lawsuits, but we're going to defer to your schedule while you're president. That's why they're trying to get it pushed to the inauguration, because then you have Supreme Court precedent helping you to push it another 4 years.
Now, of course, to revisit this is the controversy that brought Gonzalo Curiel into the spotlight. Some would say the crosshairs here. Donald Trump suggested there was a conflict of interest because of his various immigration policies. He attacked Judge Curiel's Mexican heritage, although we should note the judge is an American citizen. How has that informed what we're seeing here as well?
This is just one of many lawsuits that Trump has on his plate. They really should probably follow the judge's advice and settle this, because this is a case that really hasn't been about the controversy about whether or not he defrauded students, right? It became all about the judge. Just another reason to settle this case, not bring more cases, maybe drop some cases that you filed so you can focus on all the other controversies you have as president.
Now, of course, despite Donald Trump's repeated insistence that he doesn't settle, there is evidence to the contrary. One wonders what will come of this. I also want to ask you now about the news of the day, as first reported by our Major Garrett, that Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions has been tapped as Mr. Trump's pick for Attorney General. What do you make of it?
Well, he's certainly qualified. He has the credentials. He has been a U.S. attorney. He has been the Attorney General of the state of Alabama. He's, of course, been a senator. He understands the portfolio that he is going to inherit in all of the issues. This is someone with a lot of experience. One job he didn't get, however, was a federal judgeship, because he was ultimately not approved because of his past history of racist comments and perhaps racist use of his office as a U.S. attorney. So the big question here is, what is the future of the Civil Rights Division at the Department of Justice? That has really been the hallmark of the Obama administration's Justice Department, their work on civil rights.
And it also, it has to be noted in the context of one of the big national conversations we are having here about law enforcement as it impacts minority communities. It would certainly be, if nothing else, we've had people say today, a tough confirmation, even though it is a Republican majority Senate at this point.
Absolutely a tough confirmation, and particularly when it comes to the Civil Rights Division, the question is, what will he do? There are active cases. There are cases that he cannot dissolve. They have an agreement, for example, with the police department in Ferguson to continue to make reforms there. There's other investigations they have open. What will happen to those? There are a lot of questions of whether or not what he will do to the wheels they've already put in motion, because the civil rights job is not just to sort of litigate issues between, police officers and civilians. It also covers people with disabilities. They also litigated the transgender cases. There's a lot in that portfolio, and there are going to be some tough questions about how Sessions will handle that.
And he also is thought to have the ear of Mr. Trump, particularly as it will involve Mr. Trump's next nominee for the Supreme Court. Again, bears watching. How different will Jeff Sessions be from Loretta Lynch, somebody else I know that you covered for us?
Of course, you could not be more different. While they have similar credentials, the ideology, for example, on the issue of transgender rights. So you talked to a lot of people outside Main Justice. A lot of people felt that the Obama administration's aggressive litigation, which all came out of the Department of Justice, was maybe out of step with mainstream America, a little bit too far. But Attorney General Loretta Lynch, she compared the transgender rights struggle to civil rights. She and the head of the Civil Rights Division, they're both minority females. They say they have experienced discrimination. They know what it is. They say this is discrimination, and they're willing to take that fight to the Supreme Court, where it is now. But that's just one example of how Sessions is going to be completely different, besides the obvious issues that they're going to have with police and use of force.
We've certainly seen the civil rights movement invoked so very often, and it certainly remains to be seen what that might mean under Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Paula Reid, great to finally have you here. Don't be such a stranger.
I won't. I'll come back.
Appreciate it.